everybody, and welcome to GenFriends. I'm your host, Sherry Hudson-Passy from Carolina Girl Genealogy. And boy, do we have a panel, and boy, do we have an episode to talk about tonight. I've got an echo again. Can you guys hear that echo? Forgive me if we've got an echo. For some reason, I was getting an echo. All righty. So we've got Jenny Hawran from I Like Herding Cats Genealogy. Hello, Jenny.
Hello, I'm happy to be here.
I'm glad you're here too. And we've got Mary Kircher Roddy from MKR Genealogy and the Applied Genealogy Institute. Hello, Mary.
Got it exactly right, Cheri. Yay.
This time, I'm always saying it wrong. We've got Dr. Shelley Murphy is in the house tonight, and she is our family tree girl. Hello, Shelley.
Hello and good evening and glad to be here. And Mary, finally she got you right. It took her a while to keep me straight.
You guys all keep me straight. It's a good thing. And we have down at the bottom of my screen with Penny, we have Laura Hedgecock from Treasure Chest of Memories. How are you, Laura?
I'm good. Hope everybody else is too.
We're good. And Melissa should be hopping in pretty soon. She had her own webinar tonight, and so she wants to hop in and talk about day 7 of season 14 of Relative Race. But to help us, because as we all know, and to quote Callie, this was a doozy of an episode. We've got colliding teams. We've got colliding seasons, we should say. We have got Tiffani from season, I wrote it down, 10. Yes, 10.
9. Well, 9.
Well, 9.
I showed up on 10.
That's right. You did show up. You did show up.
I did show up on 10.
Yep, you did show up on 10. That was really cool when they bring other people back like that from the different
love that.
things. That was
fun.
so cool. Team Red, so cool. You were on with your husband who couldn't be here with us tonight, but that's okay. Tell him we missed him. So we're so glad to have you on here because you've got some interesting perspectives to what happened on day 7. And then, of course, we've got Callie, who... And you're the winner from, tell me, team, before I mess it up.
From season 12.
Season 12. And I know this in my head, but when I start talking, I just ask the ladies on the panel. It just goes, and I can have it written down right in front of me, and it just goes out of my head. Besides, I'm still shell-shocked from last night's season. And so, yeah, it was difficult. Jenny and I, as I've told you guys before, we do the live tweeting. And so as we're watching, we're saying to each other, we can't even focus. We can't even go forward. And the reason for that is, as everybody who watched knows, is that Team Black ended up having to pull out of the race. And it was heartbreaking. It was absolutely heartbreaking that, and you know, when you watch it back, you start noticing things that you didn't notice at first. And you could tell that Joby was a little, I don't know, it wasn't herself, and it just was hard. It was just really hard for her. So, and I know that people are talking about, you know, what happened and what may have happened, what may have not happened, and why did they leave the show. But if I can pull this up, she actually posted, there you go. Okay, she actually posted on Facebook because she wanted all the fans to know that she is okay, which I thought was so great. But yeah, so this is what she said, because we're not going to try to determine ourselves what we think may have happened, because that's not fair to her, because we don't know. But what she said was, when I met my twin brothers, my brother Chad gave me his sea turtle necklace with our mother's ashes in it. Remember that? How beautiful that was? It was a most precious gift. I am so thankful he gave me his piece of our mama. He told me that he had her in his life and he wanted me to have her with me now. It is the necklace I am clutching on the episode. It was Mother's Day, the day we left. And she says, thank you for all kind words. So thank you, Jenny, for letting Melissa in. Yeah, so I mean, so difficult, you know, to find out that Melissa, we're glad that you're here, our archive lady. We just we're talking a little bit about Joby and Team Black having to leave, and I read the Facebook message that she left about how, you know, she just gotten the necklace, and that it was Mother's Day, the day that they left. And so we really don't know what happened, and we don't want to speculate what happened. And so I wanted to read her words so that we don't say something and start a rumor or whatever. It's their, it's their story. And so, but Tiffani, you in particular really feel a connection with Joby on this because of your experience.
Correct. It was day 3 and I was ready to throw in the towel. And so I know exactly where she was sitting at. I mean, I'm sure the weight of everything, the stress of everything, it's hard. It's long days.
Yeah.
You're emotionally and physically drained. And and having known that the people that you are there to meet, siblings are great, cousins are great, but really, we really just want to know who our parents were. And to have the realization that you're never going to get to meet those people it's devastating. And I'm sure took a toll on her. And I mean, I was day 3, I was ready to throw in the towel.
Yeah, because you were told pretty quickly, like was it the first day that you were told that both?
The first day, in about the first 10 seconds, I found out.
Yeah.
And then, and it is a show, and they're scheduled, and as much as it's not scripted, it is scheduled out. You're supposed to meet this person. You're supposed to find out these things. So we did have we did film it where there's parts where I knew and I didn't know. And it's beautiful the way that my season was. And honestly, I stayed in because of the producers, and they're just such godsends. And I'm so thankful that they did, because obviously if you've watched that season, then you knew what happened. But I can only imagine the amount of toll it took on her.
Yeah, exactly. And I know the connection that you have with your brother is just strong.
Oh yeah.
It's just really strong. And if you'd have left, I mean, you probably would have gotten the information. They've told us relative race has said that Joby and Vic got all the information and that they will be able to meet their relatives. And I hope at some point, not because we're nosy, but because we love them. We really love these teams. We really come to love you guys, and we want to make sure you're okay. And so I'm hoping that maybe at some point, maybe we can get some pictures or just something so that we feel okay. They did get to meet the rest of their family. Who else did they meet? So
I'm sure she'll share that afterwards. After it goes through, I'm sure she'll get to share that afterwards. We're not allowed to until everything's done. But they will probably come. If they haven't already filmed a Where Are They Now? And so they'll get the families all back together, and then they'll do a Where Are They Now? They don't always make it out, but
that will be great.
Everybody, from what I understand, everybody gets that opportunity.
Oh, good. That's wonderful.
I was thinking the opposite, Cheri. I was just thinking it would be so nice for them to meet their relatives without camera crew.
Well, right. I just mean,
time limits and all that they'll.
But I guarantee that won't happen. They'll probably have somebody from relative race there, maybe, I don't know, or just at least whoever they were supposed to meet that day, if that.
And Callie, I don't know if it was that way for you, but for me, I had a lot of family that did not want to meet me on TV that I met afterwards.
Yeah, I think Callie had the same thing.
Yeah,
it was pretty much my entire family.
That said no.
Yeah, I knew. Yeah, that I found out slightly before we left for the race that I would not be meeting either biological parent, and that the maternal side of my family, like there was no one. So, it turned out otherwise, but that's what I was told ahead of time, So it was like I knew going into it as well that, but my brother kept me in, the producers kept me in.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. So anyway, we just wanted to at least, I know everybody is concerned, and Melissa, did you want to say anything, or? Because then we're just going to move on to something happier. We and Joby and Vic, we just love you, and we just thank you to at least get to share that part of the journey, and we're gonna miss Joby's laugh. That's for
Oh
sure.
my gosh, yes.
True, that's true.
We're gonna miss her laugh.
I love her and Vic's hair.
And their hand, everything. And so their story was just
On this shirt this morning in solidarity, a black sweater.
oh, look at
I
you.
do too.
Oh, cute. Timmy should be wearing a red one.
I'm in
Kelly.
black too.
I know, I
This
should
is
be in
weird.
black. Yeah.
Yep. All for you, Jody and Vic.
Alrighty, so
Jody.
yeah, we do. We love you, and we we support you, and we're just grateful that we got to know you for that a little bit, at the beginning. Well, for 7 days, got to know them for 7 days on the race. So anyway, let's move on to actually what they showed us at the very, very beginning. And that was something we debated last time, was whether or not Kara was going to be able to meet Mike on the race. And some of us said, oh, he's probably already there. And they will film that and show it to us, on day 7. And that's exactly what happened. So
Yep.
I knew they would. I knew they couldn't help themselves. They'd have to do that.
Absolutely.
yeah, and you could tell it was the same day. I mean,
Yeah.
it was the same day. How cute was that?
Oh, it was great.
Yeah, it was great.
It's like a bonus on top of everything else.
Yeah, it's a bonus. Absolutely. It was a bonus. And I just love it because that's happened in a lot of different seasons, is that there's been a connection because of the person, a teammate on the race. So I think that's just so fun when that happens. So I was so happy for Kara and Mike.
He's so enthusiastic. I mean, Laura is just so
Yeah.
enthusiastic anyway. And it's like you can tell they're related. I mean, he was just like all over the place. It was just
Yeah.
really
Oh, yeah.
sweet. Really
Yeah.
sweet.
That was a really, really cute reunion. I really loved that. I really loved that. So, and then let's go ahead and talk about the challenge.
I
Oh,
don't know.
That's
that was
one for the
confusing
book.
to me.
I
I
think
don't know.
I agree, Shelley. That's one for the book.
that's one
That's
for
one
our
for the book.
our mythical relative race family reunion book that we would love to have them put together someday. So
All
that-
the challenges.
Yeah, all the challenges that could possibly be done, by families as they get together for a reunion. So I think that would be fun. What did you guys, Tiffany, what did you think about that? How would you have liked that in your season?
Oh, I loved it. I loved it. I was like, yeah. But then again, I feel like we had some of the best challenges.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yeah. The chicken chicken.
Poor chicken still hanging in there.
Yeah.
Remember last
Yeah.
season, somebody brought out a chicken.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That chickens. Yeah, those
we go.
chickens.
Yeah.
What about
We
you?
had some fun ones.
Yeah.
I love the theme this season. It's so
Yes.
fun. And I love shuffleball, so I'm like, oh, we would have just killed that. But you never know. But
Yes.
yeah,
So
I definitely liked it.
That's great.
I would have liked that on ours.
They called it the puck stops here. And so
Yeah.
they had to hit those
Because
pucks
of the
down.
hockey puck.
Yeah, the hockey pucks, but depending on where it landed, it was times that would be taken off or added to your
Or
challenge.
negative. It was
Your challenge
either
time. But
adding or taken away.
the adding was when you hit it down there, the bonus round. Yeah, Mary.
Well, the accountant in me is
Yeah.
always
Okay.
like,
Okay. Oh. All right. Did I just freeze, or did you guys just freeze on me? Uh-oh.
Got a co-host, should be fine. There you go. You're
Okay.
back.
All of a sudden it froze. I am the only one home.
No kids trying to get on the
Nobody is
internet.
here. Nobody is here. So I don't know. So it must be my local internet. So go ahead, Mary. What were you saying?
so anyway, it was, I mean, you would either get added 5 minutes or 2 minutes or 1 minute or 0 minutes, depending upon where the puck landed. But you could spend more time then to reshoot to try to get them in a better position.
Yes.
But I was sitting there doing the math. It was like, okay, well,
course
if
you
it takes you an extra minute to get from 2 minutes to 1 minute, is it really worthwhile? And then
Yeah, to waste
assuming
the time. Yeah.
gonna do the challenge time, they ended up not doing it because of
Right.
Joby and Vic. But
Yeah.
if they were going to do the challenge time, then how would that play in? I mean, because was there like a set time? And if it took you longer to do it,
Yeah.
you wouldn't get out of it. So I'm sitting there like doing all this math in my head as I'm watching.
That's why I didn't like it, because there was too much math. There was just too much, like too much. You had to, you know, you just had to like think, oh, should I do this again? Should I try? And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is just too many steps.
I couldn't go there at all. But I like the whole
Thank
thing
you, Shelley.
of the puck and the basket at the end and all of that.
It looked like a lot of fun. It looked like a lot of fun.
But how long did it take them to queue up a puck? It didn't, like, if they had gotten +4, it would take like 10 seconds to shoot another puck, right?
Right. So you might as well
it makes the game last longer.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But you can get rid of that 4 minutes and you get a minute or two.
Yeah. Yeah. So really, and you're right, was it even worth it for most of the teams? And of course they didn't know at the end that it wouldn't count anyway, but
well, they couldn't know that.
There's no way they could know that. So, but yeah, so trying to figure that out, that would have been more stressful than just trying to hit the puck down into a good time and then do the bonus and hit it into your basket to get something off of your time, So anyway, they seemed to have a really good time. Everybody seemed to have a really good time doing it though.
Yes. So, it was funny too.
Yeah, it was funny. It was fun to watch. And then again, here we go, going to our relatives, and nobody knows the addresses again. Like, why are you so surprised that you're asking these people and they do not know where any streets are in their town? But and I think that if somebody came up to me and said, "Do you know where this street is?" I'd probably go, "I have no idea," because I go everywhere with my GPS, and that's what we do nowadays. Is we go everywhere with our GPS, right? Yeah.
But I have a question, and I'm gonna look at Mary.
Uh-oh.
Remember somebody, no, I'm saying this because she can call out them rules in a second. But one of the group's teams got a map from somebody.
Yes. Two of them had an atlas, right? Team Blue and somebody else.
Blue,
yeah. Is that cool? Because remember,
I asked myself the same question.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. It is.
Tiffani and Callie, you guys, could you just get a map?
Stop and buy a map, or someone can give you. Yep, you can. I believe Team Green did on our season. They stopped in Atlas. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Because remember, they stopped them at one of the seasons. They couldn't go get assistance.
That's true.
And now they can get maps.
Yeah. And they can ask firefighters. And didn't they stop that? You weren't allowed?
Firefighters or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you couldn't ask firefighters and police station because they had access to it, so it made it more challenging. So they kind of stopped that around season 4 or 5.
Yeah. It seems like they are doing that this season. So I don't know. But there was a question that somebody asked in the Facebook group. They asked me specifically to ask, because Daniel said as they were leaving, and John says, "We need to go get packed up." He says, "We are packed and the suitcases are in the car." Did you guys catch that? Is that allowed?
Yeah.
Why not?
I thought you couldn't put your suitcases in the car. I know somebody at one point,
I think that was early in the first couple seasons.
Said, "No, we're not allowed to do that."
No,
So I guarantee you, if I'm on the team, that stuff is in that car that night before.
Yeah.
I thought
I'm not grabbing stuff in the morning and heading out.
Oh yeah, as you're visiting with your family, you sneak that in the car.
Yeah,
it's the first thing. Yeah.
But I know somebody told us that, because you remember which team? I think it was Team Green from, I can't remember.
Team Black, they had these humongous suitcases.
Oh yes.
And it was the last minute. And I think somebody told us the clock doesn't start till the suitcases are in the car. Like, it wasn't really a big deal.
So whatever it was for their season, they weren't worried about it, because and they did. We kept saying, why aren't you putting those things ahead of time? And
sleep with those suitcases in the car.
Sleep with the suitcases in the car so you get going. So I guess that's what happens. Little things like that change, over the seasons. And so, but anyway, somebody had asked that question. And so I said, well, we will ask. So
there's so many things that we want to tell you, but we want to also leave it because it's in the show that
exactly
it would spoil it.
It's
yeah.
the magic.
It's the magic of editing and TV and all that kind of stuff.
And I like to surprise.
Isn't it? But isn't it funny that somebody caught that to ask the question? Because I didn't catch it, you know?
I thought it was a super awkward moment. I caught it. It was like one of those like moments. I was like, someone will say something about that.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, so got the question answered. I'm glad I didn't forget, because then I might have been in trouble by the person who asked. So speaking of Blue Team, since we were just talking about Daniel, oh my goodness, what another tearjerker moment for him, you know? Who would like to
about Daniel?
Yeah, who wants to talk about Daniel? Anybody want to? Come on now.
I will. Okay, fine. Daniel met
Kelly says I'll do it. Good, Kelly.
Daniel met his aunt, his paternal aunt, and then she had the most beautiful video.
Yes.
Of it would be his grandmother.
His step grandmother.
Step grandmother.
Yeah, step grandmother.
Oh.
It was so heartfelt and it was a tearjerker, and just telling him about, I'm like him.
Yes.
Telling him about, you know, there was a lot of thought and a lot of process about where he would be placed and whether or not they should keep him, whether, you know. So just for him to hear that there were, you know, he was like, his words, he wasn't just an oops and got placed
right
forever, you know. I thought that one got me.
I was like, yes,
Waterworks.
Go ahead, Tiffany, what were you saying?
And Waterworks, absolutely. And as adoptees, that's what we want to know. Is it, and also we're hoping for is that somebody somewhere wanted us, and we weren't just a discard.
Yes,
a discard. That was the word he used.
That's a
discard.
That's
discarded.
Actually, I think that was Camille.
Maybe.
I think it was Camille. Camille
that was Camille, and
that's what it was.
Resonates with you, right?
Yes, it hit me. It was
absolutely resonates with you. Is that you hope that you're not just a discard, that somebody somewhere wanted you.
Yes. And to know that his grandfather, his step grandmother, and his aunt, you know, had talked about it. And by the time they got to the hospital, and you know, he had mentioned that last week, I think, that somebody told him that they had tried to adopt him, but they couldn't because the paperwork was already signed. And then we were all just like, what is the law in that place? Because surely, you know, the family would have had a chance to, the father is when he met his dad last week. That surely the dad would have had some rights, but we don't know that whole story either. So, but and so, like he said, at least he knows that they wanted to. And at least he was placed in a good home where he was loved. So that there's not that, oh my gosh, if only. Do you know what I mean? Because I didn't have a good childhood. At least he did have a good childhood. So, you know, but that was so it's like lots of there she is. She's still there. And lots of tears. This was one of those episodes where there was lots and lots of tears. And so that video is precious, you know, so.
You know, I loved it when she said, you know, she was so emotional, and she said, you know, that she had love for a little baby that she never got to hold. And, you know, and she just was so emotional that she hoped, you know, that she wanted to meet him. Like she hoped that maybe she would meet him, you know, someday. So it was just, it was really touching.
I think they said she was 84 and just had some health problems, you know, and so she couldn't get.
I hope he gets to meet her.
Oh, me too. Me too. I hope so. And she said too that that she knows that her husband, his grandfather, thought of him often because he was the first grandchild.
Yes.
So he knew he had a grandson out there somewhere.
And that he was always the first grandchild.
Yeah.
Not
Oh,
just
that's
like,
right.
oh, well, he's gone and we'll
Yeah.
move on. He was,
always
throughout his life,
Yeah.
he was still the first grandchild.
Oh, that was so,
Mhm.
that was just emotional. It was just so emotional. I'm so glad that he got to see that video, and he wasn't just told the story, that she was
Right.
able to read that letter in her own words, and her emotion we were able to see. That was beautiful. That was beautiful. Either one of you, Callie or Tiffani, can you think of was there a time in your seasons where either you or Callie, your brother, got something like that just was so precious to you, and you're just so grateful to have gotten that little bit? And Callie, I know you got pictures.
I got a lot of photographs.
You got a lot of
Yes, but
photographs.
yeah, having those photographs the first time for sure.
Mhm.
And seeing faces for the first time.
Oh, yeah.
I got my grandfather's state fair winning
Ribbon?
Award.
pickle recipe.
But yes.
You know,
How cool
and
is that?
I
Yeah.
cherish that. You know, it's just
Yes.
something
How
that
cool
it's
is that?
not. It's not.
Yeah, but it's still a piece of him. It's still a
Oh,
piece
it's
of
a
him.
piece,
So that's a
yeah.
piece
He
of
touched
you.
it.
Exactly. Exactly. What about you, Tiffani?
Yep, same. Well, when I learned that Chris was the only person alive who even
Yeah.
knew I existed,
Right.
Yeah.
and was like had actively been looking for me since he was 18 years old.
Yeah.
That right there was like, yeah,
That
enough.
was
And
amazing. And we didn't ask you for an update. You guys still see each other a lot, don't you?
we do. We all the time.
Yeah, I love that. I love that so much, that you guys are so close. I love that for you. I think that's just beautiful.
Oh, I'm sure it drives my husband crazy, because if I'm not with my husband, I'm with my brother. And so he's like, why am I vying for your attention with your brother? He's like, now there's two of you. Oh my gosh. Like,
I love it.
because we're so very
much
similar.
alike. Yeah.
So much alike. And as I'm sure every contestant who finds their siblings.
Yeah.
And I had said this before, I always believe that we're products of our environment.
Yeah.
Genetics is an amazing
Yes.
thing.
Yep.
Oh my goodness. Just mannerisms.
Yeah.
The way just to find somebody who you look like is huge for us. You know, I don't look like, I mean, I kind of look like, my adopted family, but I don't act like anybody. I'm total black sheep of my family. My dad couldn't stand me because my personality was not in line to his personality. And so to have somebody else where I can kind of gel with and have the same quirky sense of humor, it's
right.
Yeah.
And to
Since
that
we're talking about traits, can we talk about teeth?
Yes, go ahead, Melissa. I was just thinking the same thing.
How do you pull that out?
They call it
Pulled that out.
the
That was
Perfetti tooth.
hilarious.
And at first, I went what they're talking about, but that's the last name, Perfetti. But yeah, and then he pulls it out. I'm like, ooh. So yeah, I thought that was pretty cool.
And pulled it out twice.
Yeah.
What was the word that they were saying? Perfetti?
It's the last
That's
name.
her last
It's
name.
his dad's last name.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was like, I thought it meant like it was protruding or something.
No, that's the last. I thought so too.
Like, no, they look flat.
No, my brother knocked out his front tooth, and then so he has a fake one there, and so does his biological father. Knocked out the same tooth.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
It's
That's odd.
prophetic tooth. Like,
yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. How funny is that? And we see this, and we've talked about it so much. We see this all the time. Just like, Tiffani was saying, that they're just things that did I get this trait, my behavior because of how I was raised, or is it genetic? And I think what we're seeing is very strong genetics, but you get habits from who you're raised with too. So, but it is amazing. It is amazing when we see, Daniel, it's just like his dad, the way he talks, there's no question. And you see this, and you you see these people come up to them and immediately, they don't even have to tell us who they're related to. We can tell, we can tell the minute when they walk up and they say who you're related to. We're like, oh, that's the dad. That's got to be an uncle. That's got to be a brother or a sister, because we can see it. We can see it. And so.
And that's some of the quests that they're looking for based on what, Tiffani just said a minute or, a few minutes ago. You're looking for someone that looks like you, per se.
Yeah,
and,
well, you are, because you're raised.
We can see it.
Yeah, we can see it. You're raised your whole life in a family that loves you, but nobody has your face or your nose or your eyes or your ears or the same mannerisms. And then when you see that hair,
Oh, the hair. I have my dad's horrible stoner hair. It's terrible. And my daughter has it. And Chris has it. And it's like, my adopted family is very Native American. And so they have straight, beautiful, thick, black hair.
Yeah.
And mine's just like,
but when you know where that came from, it's better, right? You can say, okay, all right.
Oh, yeah. Chris and I'll send pictures to each other. I'm like, thanks, Frank, for the hair. Thanks, Frank.
I love it. That is so cute. I love it so much. Oh, so then of course we're gonna have to go back to sadness and go talk about Team Red. Oh my gosh. All right. Which one of y'all wants to talk about Team Red?
I get too excited. Go on, Jenny.
Who wants to do it? Anybody can.
Yeah, no, I mean, I can, so let's see, Team Red, they were going to Lafayette, Louisiana, I think.
At least it wasn't back and forth. All they've done really
is Louisiana.
It was Louisiana.
Places,
yeah. And so Camille actually met her cousin, Wallace. And so I guess his grandfather and her great-grandmother were brother and sister. So I guess second cousins.
Second cousin once removed or something.
Once removed, yeah.
Once removed.
Yeah. All right, Mary?
Mary?
And that was the first relative from her maternal side. Yeah. That was the first one, which I didn't realize until she said that.
She was so excited. Yeah.
Yeah, and so Wallace pulls out a family tree to show her, like where he is on the tree, where she is, and she sees her mother's name, Felicia Lynette Long, and she sees that there is a death date, death date there from 2021, and you could just see, you could just see her just deflate, it was heartbreaking. And she said she came on the journey to meet her mother. I mean, she said that day one.
She wasn't interested. She didn't think
her dad's side.
Her dad's side. So she's all of them. Right.
So that was just heartbreaking because she couldn't hide her disappointment, obviously. And why should she? But she did, Wallace did give her a letter from Camille's aunt, Michelle. So Michelle was her mother's sister, who I guess she had some health issues that she couldn't be there, but she wrote her a letter, just saying, that your mother was a free spirit and, she did love you so much. I know that. And, all of that made her feel a little bit better knowing that, you obviously as an adoptee, you want to know that your birth mother loved you and made decisions that were for your best interest. And so that meant a lot to her to hear that, but you could just tell she was just so she's the one that said, I just want to know where I came from. I just want to know who I belong to. I don't want to feel I was discarded or forgotten about. And so there's a little solace that she wasn't, but so
she
disappointed.
Kept using the word grateful. Like she said like 4 different things, and she said she's grateful. But it was almost like she didn't want to say, and I'm disappointed. But you can see it all over her. She was it's hard. It's got to be.
And you know what made it even harder, y'all? For those of you that are on the Facebook pages, she posted, not only did she find out that she lost her mom, but they talked about a younger brother from her from her mom, and he passed away too, in very tragic,
Same
violent.
day as her mom.
Yeah.
I think it was a different year, but this November 3rd,
Yeah.
which was
the day it aired.
Yesterday.
It's that day.
Yeah.
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 That's
you know,
spooky.
I just, I think that I understand that they try to, turn things into, feeling hopeful or grateful, as just kind of the overall of the show, because it wants to be an inspirational, show and all that. But this was like the first time I can remember where like she was trying so hard, and you just could see that she was just trying, but it hit her really, really
But
hard.
with Red Team, we saw something we haven't seen in a long time.
What's that?
They knocked on the door.
Yeah, they did. That's true.
I didn't even put
No, it's been a while,
right.
because usually there's the family
Already
members standing
outside.
outside waiting
They're
on
coming
them.
out
Right.
or comes out
on the porch.
I thought to myself, wait a minute, we haven't seen them knock on a door in a long
Right.
time.
That is true.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. You're right.
But back to what Jenny was saying, I get that they want it to be inspirational, but I think it's more real. If there are ups and downs, and if people like Camille showed a lot of resilience just right there on the spot, that we learn from other people's journeys. And if it's not an authentic journey, if it's just everything is always happy, we're not going to learn anything for it, and we're not going to have the same empathy for adoptees.
We won't continue to watch the show unless it's more realistic in what people experience in their own lives. And I look to Jenny on something like that, because of your story per se, and you think about this is stuff we're learning about, but it happens within our families, within our realm, that it's real, that experience is real. And so that's why we're grabbing necklaces and holding on, and we're crying. I think one of you posted talking about it's a tearjerker. One of the other ladies tweeting said, bring the Kleenex box or something, and I thought, here we go.
Yeah, you knew it was
ready.
coming.
Yes.
But I know that Tiffani and Callie will say the same thing, as we want people to find their family, but we don't want to have people think it's always this happy thing that's going to happen. We've got to be realistic and know that sometimes things don't work out.
Right. Yeah. It's important. It's important that people see that side of it as well, especially for me, young adoptees.
Yes.
Who are hopeful and are perhaps considering reunion. That they understand that, sometimes people don't want to be found. Sometimes people are gone. Sometimes, you don't like what you find.
Exactly.
You need to take all of these things into consideration, because it's not all sunshine and rainbows.
Exactly. And maybe you find somebody and you end up not getting along. I mean, it just doesn't work just because somebody is biologically related to you. I mean, we all know this. We've all got this in our families. Just because they're biologically related to you does not mean you get along, right?
Right. Yeah. It's very much Pandora's box.
Yeah, exactly. So,
All right. Team Green.
That was hard. Well, we talked about the beginning, but we've got a happy Team Green. another happy moment for Team Green, because I wanted to start happy and end happy, because
I knew she was going to meet one of her relatives, because early in the show they talked about the fact that she was there for
just
for her friend. And I thought, they do that every time they do the interview, and you're like, something's going to happen with that one.
They do. And I said last week that we're ready for Pam to meet.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. You absolutely did. So who wants to tell us? They
did a preview clip, and I'm not liking that this season.
Oh, I know. They've got to stop.
Because we saw Pam
never mentioned that before.
Yeah. We told them before. Relative, stop.
They're not hearing us then. And I know it's already done, but they're showing previews right before the show. So we knew Pam was going to meet somebody, because we saw them. you know.
So
I watch it on
Genealogy-
BYU TV online the next day, so they don't have any of that on
So
there.
there's no commercials either.
No, there's not.
Well, there's
That's why another
never
reason why I
not.
watch it the next day.
But you've
Yeah.
got to be careful too, not to read the description of the next day, because that gives it away as well.
Right.
And
I
so,
don't.
You know, when they used to give strikes,
Yes.
and we used to invite the teams on after their strike, that's how I knew when because I could tell, because I'd quit talking about that team and I'd say, oh, they must have gotten a strike. So I was ready for it. So I could, you know, get a hold of the team and say, come on. So
That's right.
But yeah, they gotta stop that. So if you don't want to spoil it, don't read ahead, because you will find out. And be careful, don't even look at the picture, because you'll see somebody hugging somebody and you'll know who met a relative. So, but yeah, who wants to talk about Team Green and who Pam met?
She met a cousin.
Pam
and I
met-
didn't take
go ahead.
notes.
Yeah, go ahead, Laura. Sorry. Go ahead.
I said she met a cousin, but I didn't know. She met a cousin Rod and his son Rod something. What Rod?
Ratavius.
Ratavius.
Yes.
And take it away, somebody else, because I was in shock by that time and I wasn't writing things.
Yeah, it was
They
hard. I had
also-
to watch the show a couple of times because I couldn't get past Team Black. So it was very
They also showed her a family tree, which we've talked about this in the past.
Oh,
The
that's
family
right.
tree looked exactly like the family tree that the red group got.
Yeah.
And I think they used the same vendor to do those trees.
Yeah.
Because it makes it look like that the family member is producing it and showing it, but it's the show. But anyway, so they showed her a family tree, and then to see where they connected.
Yeah.
So yeah, I thought it was really great that she got to meet some family.
Yeah, they were
And
sweet.
she was
They were
asking
sweet.
questions because she was trying to follow it. I mean, it's a lot when you're not a genealogy person.
Yeah.
And she was trying to know, who is this and where's your father and how are we connected?
And it took them forever to get there. They were stuck in that traffic and playing the license plate game. And I was like, are they ever going to get there? They were just sitting there in traffic. You know,
I know.
and
they were like,
funny,
we
though.
moved the whole semi.
Well, they left out of Memphis.
Mhm.
And I can tell you that my husband and I travel that once a year. We go to Fort Worth, Texas.
Yeah.
And so we go through Memphis, we go through West Memphis, Arkansas, Little Rock, we go through all that.
Yeah.
And the traffic is like that.
You just sit there.
Sorry, it is.
Easy.
Oh gosh. Oh, that's too funny. But yeah, I'm so glad that Pam met somebody too. It's so fun when the person who's just coming to be the support gets to meet somebody. I think that's fabulous that they got to do that. So I wanted to circle around because I wanted to ask Callie and Tiffani too. We were talking about them being real. They don't tell you to say certain things. They don't script you at all. And so, yeah, I mean, if you're upset,
Well, you're asking that, right?
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Well, I'm pretty sure they don't. And so we said they want it to be positive, but I mean, if they can't get anything positive, they're not going to say to you, right? You need to be positive now so we can put that. Yeah.
No, they might come back and say, well, can you explain that a little bit more? Or can you go into a little more detail? But there's never been anything where like, we want you to say this, we want you to say that. It's more of, hey, we maybe didn't get the soundbite right. Can you go back and explain this or in greater detail?
Yeah.
But it's never been anything scripted. Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead, Callie.
No, not at all. I was agreeing everything.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it goes to Jenny's point. It really makes me respect Camille all that much more because of, that hard news and being able to express, her thankfulness for somebody showing up, her cousin being there, somebody that family could tell her, and it wasn't, even though, I mean, this cousin really didn't know her mom, it still was a family member on her mother's side, and then he was able to give her the letter. So anyway, I just wanted to circle back to that and make sure we're clear that nobody was telling anybody what to say or they had to make it positive. So
they might kind of direct the relative. You're gonna start here and then work your way down to this, without telling them, giving them a script either.
Right.
But they'll say, please start. Well, and when you talk about the family trees, They will. They'll start here because that happened. Remember that happened with my husband.
Yes.
I was so thankful that I was like, oh, finally a day off of me. This is great.
Yes.
And so they started out with the top of his family tree, and then they worked down. I mean, that in Camille's case, that I'm assuming that that's exactly what the producers did, is we start here and then just kind of.
Well, you don't want to just. Go ahead.
What happened with me with John when I found out John, and they brought out my family tree, and then I found out my brother John, as they kind of like, oh yeah, by the way, you have another brother.
Yeah, exactly. Because, and they didn't want to just hand it to her and say, look, your mom has passed away. I mean, that's not the first thing they want to find when she's looking at that tree. So anyway, I just wanted to make sure, because I didn't want anybody to get the wrong impression that the show directs anybody in any way.
No, and they'll never remake you redo a scene like that.
Oh, I
can't. There might be a couple times where we've had to restart well, especially during the challenges, we'll have to refilm challenges for different shots and stuff. Right. But that kind of stuff, it's one shot and that's it. And there's no, hey, can we get you to cry a little more on that? That's never, ever happened.
And that's why, I think that's why the show touches so many people, because it's so real.
It's so real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the emotions are so raw. And I mean, it's sad and heart-wrenching thing, but it's also a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
You can't think that. I mean, we're not actors.
Absolutely. No. And it goes to show, because, we're watching season 14. Who would have thought? Yeah. And as far as I know, 15 has either been filmed or they're filming, but I think it's done filming, but I'm not sure. So, but how cool is that? That we just continue going and people are going to continue to meet their family.
I think I started the confusion, and I wasn't saying that Camille was scripted. I was saying sometimes when there's a camera in your face and a million people watching you, you feel like you have to come up with something, besides poor pitiful me. Yeah, but inside you still feel poor pitiful me.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
That's what I wasn't trying to say.
No, I didn't think you were at all. No, I didn't think you were. No. No, I didn't think you were at all. So because of this, they get to, where they're meeting and they're all on their computers, and you've got the three, and then Dan has to break it to them all that Team Black has had to pull out, and again, I'm like, can we just take a time out here? We don't want to move forward. I mean, I think all of us watching felt that way. I was like, okay, can we all have a time out and maybe talk amongst ourselves and then go back into the show? That's kind of how it felt as we were live tweeting. It was like, can we stop and then let all of us kind of talk and then get back into the show, right? Right, Jenny?
There really needs to be therapy sessions.
Yes, for the viewers, we need it.
It just seemed, it was just so empty, it was just like, oh my gosh, there's only three up there. And it just hit me all over again.
It's all devastating when you lose that team anyway, just leading into day 10.
Right.
You always know that at least one's gonna go.
Yeah. But not this season.
Something like this happens. It's like I can't imagine what they were sitting there thinking.
Oh, right.
You watched Laura Jean's jaw just drop.
Yeah. It's just it was very difficult. So what they've had to do is they had to change the rules.
Yeah. I thought they did a good job with this.
I did too.
Someone explain it, because I got a phone call in the middle of it. And didn't get the rules change part.
Laura, do you want to tell us about the rules change?
Yeah, basically what they're saying is Team Black is going to, for the rest of the race, Team Black is
only 2 more days. 8 and 9. Yeah.
Team Black is going to occupy that bottom position. Mm-hmm. So it will be filled. So there will be no worrying about are you in that position, and do you have to do good on the challenge before your overall time is calculated? Yeah. So they are just going to go on the overall time for these next 2 days.
Okay.
And so it is kind of that does make it kind of fair, that because it's harder with 3 people for
right.
one not to be, I mean.
Exactly. Yeah. And, but you still get the benefit of coming in first. So you want to still come in first and get that benefit to take it to day 10. So,
but we also don't know the total benefits
we don't know
of day 10.
We don't know. We don't know nothing about day 10.
Just that the points are first place or the wins or something have something to do with it, you know.
Right. Precisely.
Yeah, and
it's
I forgot
like that.
and I forgot that with the challenge, Team Green had the leg up, which meant they didn't have to. They got one shot less. What did they get? So they didn't have. Yeah.
Something like that.
To help their
one
time.
less puck. Yeah.
To help their one less puck. Which didn't help them because it got stuck in traffic. So it didn't help them at all.
Yeah.
Who wants to talk about results? I have to ask you guys because
so the prize when they were changing the rules too, they also said the prize is for the next time is a detailed map of where their relatives live, which is really really
I didn't catch that. That's cool.
Yeah, which is really cool. Which is really cool. Since nobody seems to know in any town.
Right.
That's a great
so the results were not surprising, really. I mean, the first place was Team Blue, so Daniel was thrilled. They were thrilled about getting a detailed map that they're going to get, so they were really happy about that. And then you just knew that Team Green, unfortunately, was going to come in last. They were sitting in that traffic.
No way around that one. No way around that one.
Yeah, second.
But at
was
least
Team
they're
Red
not at the bottom and have to worry about being in the bottom on day 9 anymore. You don't have to worry about that. One more thing we were talking about last week that we found out this week. Who was surprised that Daniel's 37 years old?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Whoa.
I thought he was like 25.
I know.
Something. Bless his heart.
Because I remember last week we were going, we wonder how old he is. We don't know. Did they ever say? Maybe they did at the beginning, but we don't remember.
Yeah.
They did when he met his nephew.
Yeah, it just didn't click, I suppose. Yeah, it didn't click until he said it last night. And I was like, what? Or on day 7. And I was like, what? So funny. So funny.
Too funny.
Yeah. So so we're going into day 8 already. This week we've got only 3 teams now, which is really sad, but it is what it is. And we wish them all well. And Tiffani, is there anything that you would like to talk to us about from your season or something we didn't talk about from day 7? We're so glad that you're here. So we want to
thank you so much for having me. It's always so great to be here. I missed you guys.
We want to pick your brain.
I still watch afterwards.
Well, as Callie knows, you have the link now, and you can just hop in whenever you want.
Gonna take you up on that. Careful.
No. It's the same time. It's the same time we record, unless something happens and we have to move things around. It's the same time every Monday night, guys.
All right, great. I know Chris wanted to be here tonight, but he's has a leak in Scottsdale on a project that they're working on, so he had to rush back to.
We'll tell him we missed being able to talk to him, because I know that he's still. You told me too that he's very much still in touch with the show, the producers, and all that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah. Yeah. If anybody comes back, they'd rather have Chris back than anyway from our season. They're like, yeah, Chris is going to be the first person. When I showed up for season 10 on day 10, they're like, where's Chris? Did you bring your brother? No, Dan said no, because his beard was because they smuggled us in. And he's way too recognizable. I mean, we were they're like incognito. You put a hat on, you put a mask on, you put hoodies. So they snuggled us all in because they were worried because we were staying in the same hotel as everyone in New York.
They didn't want it to get out. Yeah.
Yeah. And it was the first time that they brought back previous
seasons. To actually do something with the challenges. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. They've had them on before just to be there, because I know that one of the earlier seasons they were going around asking questions in DC, and they had some of them. But they weren't really helping them like you guys.
But there was a season they participated in.
I think it was just in that way, but it was
Yeah.
with Tiffany. It was the first time that they'd actually pulled people back, and Stephen was there. Stephen Dement, wasn't he there?
Yeah, Stephen was there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was really, really fun to have you guys there helping with the challenge. So, and it really kind of helped too, because sometimes we've seen the challenges and gone, that's not fair, because those people it's harder for them to do physical or whatever it might be. But when they bring people back that are on their teams, that kind of levels that playing field out a little bit too. So that's really fun. So I hope they do that again. I hope they do that again in some future season. Maybe they'll do it on day 10.
Well, we keep vying for a champions season.
Oh,
So
you should. You should. We would love that so much.
Yeah. All obviously not meeting family, but all competition.
Yeah. All competition. And they listen to us so much.
Right? Yeah, exactly.
Come on, Relative Race. You heard it here. They want. We want it.
You see how much Relative Race hangs on our every suggestion, right?
Because yeah, exactly. And because they put the book together for us. Yeah. So
Dan was in town not too long ago, and I should have brought it up again. Maybe the next media day, I'll just kind of show up for season 15's media day, because they always have media day back in Utah, in Park City at the studio. So I'll have to call one of the producers and give.
And speaking of Dan, he was supposed to be on at the beginning, and something happened. He had to change his schedule, and we're still waiting for him to come on this season, but I know how busy he is. So, but we had it all scheduled and he couldn't come on. And I was like, damn, the man.
Especially if they're doing 15 or it's already done. They're still,
It's done.
Is it done? Good.
Yeah, I got a little.
Oh, well, hopefully we'll get him back on again. He's been on before, before he got sick. So
a couple times.
Hoping to get him back on again now that he's
Dan the man.
Dan the man. Dan the man. Callie, how about you? Anything you wanted to add for?
No, you know what? I bopped in here because I was just obsessed with, I knew this was going to be a huge episode, and I'm like, I want to know what they're going to say, and I don't have time to wait till Wednesday. So I want to be here, and I want to be present, because wow, it was like riding 4 different waves.
Oh my gosh, I know. I think Eric from season last season 13 winner, the blue team, he said it was like watching riding a roller coaster, and he's right. It was like riding a roller coaster, and again, Jenny and I were like, wait, stop. Stop the roller coaster. Let us process what is going on before you move on to another team. There was so much going on that we felt like, you kind of got whiplash a little bit. Yeah. So
Besides that, I want to say I am so happy for Green Team's cousin, the Mike, and then the cousin, she met, and that being her dad. And
that's why this was such a great episode.
That was really
all of this going on. You had all of this happy and all this sad mingled all together, and rule changes, and it was. I don't think we've had an episode this wild. I can't even remember the last time we had an episode.
I don't think so either.
Maybe this is the first.
Told you.
Yeah, I know. A doozy, she said. It's going to be a doozy. And I said, well, thank you, but it's not like I wasn't going to watch it, but thank you for the warning. I appreciated the warning, I could put my seatbelt on and go, oh my gosh, here we go. What's going to happen?
Tristan's fan club just got a little bit bigger.
I'm sorry, what did you say? What did you say, Tiffany?
Tristan's fan club just got a little bit bigger. Thank you to all of you genealogists that do this work, because without you, this couldn't happen. And what an amazing gift that was.
Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. She is amazing. You're right. She's amazing. And everybody that works. Everybody.
I can just see her so excited. This is going to be so exciting. And they know what's going to happen. The producers know what's going to happen. Everyone knows. And so.
Exactly. Yeah. And when Mary's not too busy, she researches ahead.
Mary.
She'll let us know where they're going the next, because they've got to be going here the next time, because I looked at that document. Do you have anything to tell us?
I'm pretty sure I tracked Tiffany. It's like I knew where you were going.
Yes. Yeah.
I think it was Tiffany you tracked.
we're like, Mary, what have you got for us? What did you have time? How did you have any time to do it? So she'll just stop the video, look at the documents and start researching so she can tell us what's happening.
Love it.
It's so fun.
Love it.
It's so
Mary,
fun.
the fact that you knew that my brother lives in the Phoenix, Arizona before I did.
Yeah.
Shame on you. Glad you for not telling me.
That's what we do, huh, Mary? That's what we do.
But then, yeah. But
I
then,
knew on show time, but I didn't know on real time because you were there 6 months before.
Exactly. You had already filmed. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But
yep.
that's
No,
the
it
nature
was
of the business. So
yeah, what a fantastic. I would love to see if you know, more because I think Precious is going to be. I mean, how cool is that? Precious is family. We didn't even really talk about that. I mean, you guys probably have in previous episodes, but Precious is so close to, you know, so many of her family members, and they're so close to each other.
Absolutely, they're all there. Yeah.
How cool is that? I love to hear that.
And you know, they're like just blocks away. She grew up blocks away from them. So it's just amazing. So they'll be able to.
And they're all looking familiar.
Oh yeah,
everybody. Yeah, yeah.
And I think she had mentioned that too. That somebody said, "Do you have a sister? Are you, you know?" And she's like, "No, I'm adopted. Totally like anybody."
Oh gosh, well, yeah, she just lives down the street and she didn't even know, you know, in the same part of town. So it's just amazing that sometimes, you know, sometimes the family's all spread around the country and then sometimes they're just around the block. Or in case of Team Blacks, that one season, they're just the people that you knew as your teacher or your
everybody
in your town.
The whole community was related. Michael.
Yeah.
No,
that was
Michael.
Jamie and Jansen.
Yes.
Yeah.
Jansen.
Yeah. They're
yes.
whole family. So you just never know. So oh my goodness.
Well, thankfully they never dated anybody they were related to.
Yeah, I know.
Right?
I know.
That's the fear.
That could have been.
That's the fear. Am I gonna date somebody I'm related to?
It's my reality.
And it was a small community.
Yeah, it was very possible for them, right?
What did you say, Callie?
It's my reality. So my biological parents are first cousins through marriage.
Yeah.
Well, and so I can't remember what day it was when I met my cousin Misty. I'm like, "How are we related?" She's like, "Well, on both sides," and I'm like, "Oh my goodness."
Exactly. I'm
like,
so not only are they my parents, they're also my first cousins.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, my mom and dad were married and then had me and my brother Chris, and then they got divorced, and then my mom married my uncle, my dad's brother.
Yes.
So my brother, my half brother is my cousin brother.
Oh boy.
And so
there we go, Jenny. They gotta lead that math.
Cousin brother.
Yeah.
Like it.
That's when the family tree just isn't the same shape as other people's.
Yeah. It's like a little bush. It's not so much a shrub.
Oh,
that's bonsai going on there.
Yeah, a little bonsai. There you go. That's too funny. Well, we appreciate you being on, Tiffani and Callie. And like I said, you got the link. You're welcome anytime.
I'll be same time next week, Callie.
Same time. Exactly.
We're down for it.
We're down for it. I mean, really, the more the merrier, you know, who can give their perspective on the show, you know, is just fabulous. So I appreciate you guys all.
I'll call Kareem. A heartbeat. He's retired now, so he has nothing better to do.
He has nothing better to do. That's too funny. Yep. Anybody that wants to come on, we always
as long as they know we're gonna ask questions.
Oh yeah.
That's all.
Or from my part, do something really dumb or call somebody the wrong name. You know, as long as they can forgive me for that, then we're all good. So
well, there's so many seasons, it's hard to keep up.
And I think I have everything straight. And then the minute I start recording, it's like everything goes out of my head. So anyway, and these guys know that and they keep me straight. So I've got this wonderful panel that I could not do this without because and everybody's got different perspectives and we all do different things when it comes to the genealogy world too. And so I need them. I need them desperately to have any kind of coherent conversation. So Tiffani and Callie, we appreciate you so much. Thank you so much. And everybody on this panel, I love you. Thank you so much for coming and talking about this day. that we are going to really always, this is going to be a day in relative race history that's just going to really stand out. It's not like the other days are not important. It's not that the connections are not important, but these kind of days don't happen every season and every day in the race. And so I don't know about you guys, but one last comment I had is I almost felt like Dan kind of choked up a little bit when he was talking. Did you guys
trying to get it out?
Did you guys see
Yeah.
feel it too? Yeah.
Yep.
And it was emotional for so many reasons, but especially for Team Black. So if they happen to watch this, again, we love you. We're glad everybody's okay. We're glad we got to see the part of the journey that we got to see, and we wish nothing but the best for you. So thanks everybody for watching, and we will see you next time on GenFriends. Bye everybody.
Bye.
Night, ladies.